A very good morning. EURUSD has continued to trickle down lower, and tariffs have been slapped everywhere, with 50% tariffs on Brazil, 30% tariffs on Europe, for example, and many, many more. Now, overall, we've seen the stock market dump and the dollar gain some strength overnight as we see EURUSD trickle down lower and lower. Now, from a daily time frame perspective, again, what can we see? Well, we've had a break of structure in towards the upside, swing low, swing high, and overall from a Fibonacci perspective, we can see that we are still trading at a premium above the 0.5 fib. Therefore, overall further downside still makes sense. Now, the next area of daily demand is obviously this sell over here before the big buy up. So I'm still looking for some further downside here from EURUSD. Going into the 4-hour time frame, we can also furthermore see that the overall order flow remains extremely bearish, with continuous low breaks taking place over here, 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 and once again over here, with not a single fractal high break taking place. And you can clearly see that the overall supply zones are continuously being respected. Now, again, last week, the only long opportunity that I mentioned on EURUSD that was really there is if we were to break the 4-hour fractal high, then we could have looked for an overall long from the demand zone that would then be created. However, we can clearly see that there is no demand on EURUSD for now, and that we should just follow the overall fractal structure further in towards the downside. So for myself, just waiting for EURUSD again to head down lower, and once we reach lower areas of demand, so for example this 4-hour demand zone, which is also stacked with that daily demand zone, you could potentially look for a long position once again. But until then, just follow the overall immediate order flow further in towards the downside. Now, for now, EURUSD is extremely consolidative over here on the 1-hour time frame, especially. It's not really looking for those lower time frame setups until we've seen some more clear direction chosen, and we have more momentum within the markets. But for now, we can clearly see that the momentum is in towards the downside, so I'll be following that overall momentum in towards the downside until we form a clear area of demand. For example, after tapping in towards this demand zone, then we could potentially look for longs again. But until then, I'll just be following the shorts in towards the downside. But it's also very important to monitor what the dollar index is doing, because as we can see here from a dollar index perspective, and then focusing on the daily time frame, let me just clean up the chart real quick. Here on the daily, we can very clearly see that we have been following the overall fractals further in towards the upside, and that further upside is still definitely possible. We still have a daily area of supply open over here, and we also have a gap which is positioned over here, which is still also open to get filled. Now, what I'm looking for here on the dollar index is to just simply follow the daily and the 4-hour fractal structure up higher. For now, this here is in control, this demand zone. Then over here, we got this demand zone in control. And now again, we have this demand zone over here in control. So I'm just following the overall daily fractal structure up higher. And personally, I would only really be looking for shorts on the dollar if we were to break the fractal low, because otherwise we'll just head up higher in towards this daily supply zone, which is a very important directional zone, because from that daily supply zone, that is then where you want to be potentially looking for shorts, because that is also from a 4-hour swing structure perspective, the 4-hour swing, right? Swing high, swing low, and then that would be nice premium pricing, gap filled, clean area of supply, and then you could look for shorts. If that is then broken, then I would be looking for more longs once again on the dollar, for like a deeper overall retracement up higher. But for now, obviously, daily fractal is bullish. 4-hour order flow is also bullish. We can clearly see here again, every single time 4-hour fractal low is respected, and we're only breaking 4-hour fractal highs. So there are definitely no shorts available at the moment. So let's see what happens today. For now, this supply zone doesn't seem too strong. I would prefer for the dollar index definitely to push up higher, take out these descending highs, fill the gap, and then tap into that higher daily area of supply, and then you would have higher probability shorts here on the dollar. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for the dollar. Then moving into AUDUSD. AUDUSD should have pushed up higher, yeah, so it's pretty much done it, but at the same time, very consolidative. Obviously, with the overall tariff news, the risk on pairs are not a big fan of it. Looking here at the daily time frame, very consolidative. That's all I can really say. Looking at the weekly time frame, it's trickling up higher week by week, but also not the most amazing price action, to be very honest. But overall, looking here at the daily as well, I mean, yeah, we're still bullish, and we can see that we're pushing up higher and higher. So I'm not really interested in shorts yet. Also, just because I don't really see any clear levels here to the left that should really push the market down lower. So I'll just be following the overall order flow, and that is for now in towards the upside. And I'll only be looking I'll be looking for new longs once the dollar kind of like breaks that daily fractal structure again. But for now, not really looking to trade AUDUSD. I mean, until as well we break the current fractal low. Longs are the only thing that I'm looking at. Going into GBPUSD, GU is one of the cleaner pairs overall. It's been continuously pushing down lower. You can still see my lines are still on this chart. I still see further downside for GU happening. Last week on Friday we had bad GDP numbers for the UK, which I highlighted last week as well. Overall price action, which I've highlighted in last week's video, was as well overextended move. Then we have the overall ascending price action in towards the highs. We have the 1, the 2, the third high. We take out a important daily liquidity high, and then from there you kind of like want to follow the overall daily order flow in towards the downside. So for now, we're following that daily order flow by looking at the daily fractal structure. So here we have daily supply zone. Here again we have a daily supply zone, and now again we have here a daily supply zone following the imbalances. So what I'll be looking for is further shorts from the GBPUSD. Again, I highlighted this area of demand last week. That was my target. That target has now been met, and that should cause somewhat of a pullback. I'll be looking for further shorts, just following the overall daily order flow and following the overall market structure, in the sense that we have the 1, 2, 3 overextended move. So I'm looking for a deeper correction, kind of like back down into like 1.312, something like that. So looking for those further shorts as long as the daily fractal remains bearish. And then you can just follow the 4-hour for the potential entry model. That is what I'll be looking at here on GBPUSD overall. So keep an eye open for those shorts. Then going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU is extremely choppy at the moment. Not too much going on, to be very honest. I'll just be waiting for NZDUSD for now. I like looking for longs on NU from a market structure perspective, also based on the 4-hour time frame. We can see now that it's however getting very, very choppy, and that price is a little bit stuck within this overall area of consolidation. So I'll be looking for longs again once we see clear momentum come back in towards the markets. Otherwise we'll just let it drop down lower and lower until again we see those bulls come back into the market. USD CHF and USD yen and gold. So USD CHF has also been consolidating heavily. Again, the market doesn't really know what it wants at the moment, so waiting for the dollar index to kind of like choose its next direction, but still favoring shorts just purely based on the overall market structure that we have here. Again, we have this daily imbalance which is positioned over here. Daily fractal is still bearish. 4-hour is fractal bullish at the moment. So not the cleanest price action, but again, once we break this fractal low, then you'll have the highest probability shorts again. But for now, not really looking for longs until we break the current fractal high. If we break that fractal high, then I'll be looking for longs to take out the descending highs. Going into dollar yen, let's have a look over there. What's happening? We can see that USDJPY has been pushing up higher and higher, again on a weak Japanese yen. Overall, with a little bit of a stronger dollar. Again, here, the overall order flow remains bullish. This daily demand zone remains in control. And as well as highlighted last week, we can see a perfect tap into that 4-hour demand zone and then again a push higher. So I'm not really looking to short this at the moment just because the overall momentum in towards the upside is so strong. I'll preferably only really be looking for shorts if we maybe take out this high over here as liquidity, because now also we have like this third trend line touch. So the 1, the 2, and then the third touch. So I'm not really looking to short this at the moment. And then we have, of course, gold. You guys know my bias on gold. I am still long on gold, and I'm looking for that further upside. This setup has been discussed many times by myself. Overall, we are swing bullish. We have retraced into discount prices, into the gray zone. We tapped into a daily demand zone, and then we saw the V-shaped reversal in towards the highs. After that, we have grabbed liquidity underneath kind of like this low over here, which again is like similar to GBPUSD, where we had this ascending channel with the 1 high, the 2nd high, and the 3rd high. And then we see the overall drop off in towards this low, where we then make a connection again with this overall sub for the buy. This sub for the buy gets tapped into, and then we see the daily fractal structure shift. Now again, we've seen another daily fractal structure shift. So I'll just continuously look for those longs once again from this daily fractal structure. And again, you can just look for more longs in towards the upside, as that is what makes sense at these current levels. So yeah, still in longs from lower prices as well, and I'll be continuously looking to scale into more gold long positions myself from a swing perspective. And on the 4-hour time frame, obviously we had quite the overextended move. Maybe wait for a little bit of a retracement if you want some better entries, and then just wait for the change of character again to get into more longs. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and we'll speak soon.